Guys, first of all, who's drop shot? Everybody, y'all experts. All right, we got those here. All right, do y'all understand I'm going to go over some of the things about drop shot, about things that are important. First of all, the rod. Medium action with a fast hit. Too many people use medium light. When they do that, they're losing the hook penetration. You got to really get it in there and get it going. That fish really has to have that bait in its mouth to stick on it. Right? Second, braid. I use a finesse braid. Too many people put braid on their lines, and it's not a finesse braid. It's too stiff. They use 15 pound, 20 pound, stuff like that. I use a 10-pound finesse braid. Suffolk Nano braid, Cascades Mega 8 Finesse or 13X braid. It's very subtle. And then I use a 6, 7, or 8 pound leader, fluorocarbon leader. I'm an FC sniper guy from Sunline. I've used Cobra. Cascade is really good. Some people using VizX from Cigar, Tatsu. They're all good. You just need a good fluorocarbon line. Right, make some room for me here. Make some room for me. People that are fishing a drop shot, first of all, when I fish a drop shot, I'm dropping it, my rod tip is pointed down, and look, I'm feathering the line just like this, I'm feathering. The reason is, if I see suspended fish, I want to slow it down around it. I can actually stop the reel right here and let them get a good look at it. Sometimes they'll hit it, if they hit it right there, I can just click over and lift the reel. If not, I want to just start dropping it slowly and get their attention. You'll see it, but you want to just keep it in front of them. Do not let those fish see that break. Fish's eyesight, science tells us a fish's eyesight in water is 8 times better than human. So if I can see 5 feet in front of me in Lake Lanier, for instance, in Carter's Lake, they can see 4 feet. They're going to see that break. Always drop down. I always do this. If they're middle of the brush pile to the bottom, I go straight to drop shot. If I see them on top of the brush, then I'll throw something over the top first and then easy. But when you drop down, this is the action. When you drop down, now if we're in water, this worm would be sitting straight out, right? Look, so many people are doing this with their drop shot. See the rod tip? Look at that weight. All you're doing is causing the puffs of stuff off the bottom, and you're attracting the fish to the weight. I'm right here. Look, this is all I'm working. That's how I'm working. I'm not even moving the drop. I'm not even moving the weight. I'm trying to move that bait. Whoops, sorry. I was looking at y'all. I'm trying to move that weight the worm between the weight and the rod. That's it. Sometimes I want a dead stick. I'm just holding it right now. You cannot hold it still. Between your nervous system, boat movement, current, waves, and so you're not going to hold it still. Sometimes, not long ago in the summertime, this was a few weeks ago, I took 2 of the kids out in here today. We went 12 in the afternoon to 4. Middle of the heat, 90 degrees. We went out there and slaughtered them, and the technique, because there was some wave action out there, the technique was to drop it down and just hold it. Just try to hold it. You'd say, be sitting there all of a sudden, you feel it going down. And we had, I think, 9 or 10 fish in the, basically a 3.5-hour trip we were on, between 3 and 4 pounds. Not doing anything. That's what I was saying earlier. I said, the way you work a drop shot is try not to work a drop shot. Right? Now, the hook step. Did we cover that just a second ago? Alright, the hook step. Too many people, they sit there and they set the hook. You can hold this right here. Hold the hook, go stand over there, and I'll try to set the hook. I might be able to with the braid, but 90% of the times I will not be able to pull it out of your hand. You can sit there and pinch your fingers. I will not be able to pull it out because of the flex of the rod, the stretch of the line, what have you. But if I reel it, you ain't got a chance to hold it. it's either going to come, you're going to either come with it or it's going to pull out of your hand or break the line, one or the other. All right? That is it. This is the hook set. When you drop down, your rod tips are already down. When fish are chasing your bait, 90% of the time they hit it as soon as it hits the bottom. Right? So I'm going down, I drop down, as soon as I hit the bottom, I click over, and I'm ready. My rod tip is already down to do this. Right? I'm down. This is the hook set. That's it. I'm not at yanking, I'm just at, there it is. Right? 3 or 4 real fast hooks. And the reason is, one is it's pulling that hook. Just lifting it is getting the hook started and keeping slack out of your hook. The reel is what's pulling the hook into the mouth, into the hook in the other. And then it also steers the fish's head. Instead of yanking on them right away, by doing it that way, you just kind of steer the fish's head up out of the brush. Once you get him out of the brush, you got a much better chance of landing it. All right. My tag, the leader. I use about a 15, 18 foot leader, and I make sure I get at least 2 reels handles the knot on the reel. The reason is, if I've got a good fish up on near the boat, I don't want that that knot outside of that reel. I don't want that knot. That's going to be your weakest link. So go ahead and get it 2 or 3 wraps on there. Sure, when you drop down, it might catch because of the knot. Sometimes you just pull it out and let it go. All right? Now, what is the worst thing about drop shot fishing? Huh? No, the line twist. You always get line twist. But we came up with something. Merle's going to go over with the eliminator and adjust your tag in. This part right here is critical. Story is, I was fishing with a guy. Fish were chasing it. They were window shoppers. They were going down and turning up, going down and turning up. I said, I want to adjust my tag in. I was just trying something different. I adjusted it down to 6 or 8 inches. It was boom, he hit it. Boom, they hit it. I said, hey, adjust your tag in. Go short the tag in. He wouldn't do it. It was 30-1. And I finally said, why won't you adjust your tag in? He said, because you won't tell me why. I said, I don't know why. I'm just telling you. Well, I got to thinking about it. You know how they fish trap bait at the surface, right? Well, I think they do it the same on the bottom. I mean, if somebody's chasing me with a knife, I'm not going to stop 15 feet from that door. I'm going to go on through the door if I have to. Same thing. If I'm a bait fish, I'm not going to stop 15 feet off the bottom, or 15 inches off the bottom, you know. I'm going to try to get under a rock or a little limb or something. It might be an LJ-ism. I don't know, but it works. The first thing I do when they're doing that, the first thing I do to this day is adjust my tag in. Right? Now the line twist, I'm going to let Earl explain something he came up with a while back, and we sell a lot of them, and customers on my boat, I always have one tied on now for them, because it helps me establish where that tag in needs to be.
Okay, well to start off, when you have your worm tied on the line, and you go to bring it up from 30, 40 feet, you're just reeling it up, you know, that worm spins all the way up. All those spins are creating your line. So after a couple hours on the lake drop, you got line twist. So this setup eliminates it. What you have is cylinder weight with a built-in swivel already in it. Got your tag line, however long you want to make an original tag line. Normally I put it about 7 or 8 inches, and I tie up a barrel swivel to it. On both ends of the barrel swivel, they spin. The eyelets spin on it. So right there, you have 1, 2, 3 ways of eliminating line twist right off the bat. Now you take a bobber stopper below the worm, then you put your worm on, and here's how the eliminator actually works. The worm isn't tied to the line at all. Your worm's spinning free. So there's your 4th way of eliminating the line twist.
Do y'all understand how line twist occurs? When you're reeling up, your bait spins. Okay.
Well, now you can reel it up, and that worm, if you doesn't spin all at once. The line isn't spinning with it. All right. Now LJ had mentioned just a couple of minutes ago how important the tag line is. With the bobber stoppers in the eliminator setup, you just grab your bobber stoppers, slide it up the line, and I just made myself a 2-foot tag line, and without having to retie anything. So say the first brush pile you go to, you're sitting on the bottom. You have your 8 to 10 inch tag line. Well, that's perfect for that brush pile. Say the next one, you see them suspended in them. Now they're up 2 feet. Instead of having to stop, retie, slide it up, there you go. There's your 2 foot. Okay? That's how you adjust your tag line without having to do anything with this eliminator. Now, LJ, do your thing.
All right. First thing's entering y'all mind is, well,
It slides.
that worm slides, right? So if a fish hits it, it slides. Guys, how do you set a hook on a drop shot?
Reel.
Lift and reel. A spinning reel takes up 24 to 26 inches of line with one reel. One reel revolution. So if you're 10 inches above that swivel, I mean, you have to go a third of a reel handle, and you've already covered it. You already covered it. But what happens is that thing might come down, but as soon as it hits that swivel, it's already in.
It's already in once you initially set it.
Getting it started.
It's already started to go in. But once it stops, it penetrates it all the way through. And it literally eliminates all your line twists. We did it a couple of winters ago, 50 feet. Now imagine dropping it 50 feet. How quick you're going to get those line twists reeling something up. Well, with this setup, we were doing it, a couple hours in, he was getting his line twist and I wasn't getting any. We did it 3 straight days. I never had one line twist and he was doing this. But it's up to the person. He likes old school. I like my way.
Long shank hooks. Who uses the small hook? All right, you get a lot of lip hooks, right? Right. The thing about a long shank, and that was one that I designed, the thing about a long shank hook is it does 2 things. First of all, it's a medium light hook that's extremely strong and sharp. So the slightest movement with your rod is going to get a hook started. Secondly, is it allows me to rig it Texas style so I can get down into brush. I can drop straight down into the brush, right? And third is it eliminates the lip hook because it gets behind the lip and up into the meat of the jaw, basically. Sometimes it's the bone, sometimes it's just inside the lip, but you don't have the little lip hooks. All right? That helps a lot, getting them up. The questions? All right?
If you're interested in the eliminator, they're all on the website.
Yeah.
We have business cards here.
Who knows about Lanier Bays? Who goes to Lanier Bays? Oh, y'all go to Lanier Bays already? We all need one, but I take these anyway because that's a discount code for Cash King and for us. If y'all want it. If y'all want one, there's a few left right up here. And casting the drop shot. One thing to show y'all, casting the drop shot. When I cast the drop shot and the weights first, let's go over the weights first. If I'm down to 20 feet or so, I'm using a 1/4 ounce weight. If I'm 20 to 40, maybe 45, I'm using a 3/8 because it feels the same as that 1/4 does up in 20. If I'm down basically 45 to 55 feet, 60 feet, I'm using a 1/2 ounce. And the reason is that it feels the same as that 3/8 up, a little shallower, and the 3/8 feels, the 1/4 feels like that 3/8 up a little shallower, right? And that's why I do it. I want the same feel when I'm getting down that deep or shallow. Right? Now if I'm casting it, I'll always use either a 1/4 or a 3/16. And what I'm doing, I just tag in. Spring, sometimes I cast it. In the fall, sometimes I cast it up on the shallow ledges of the blow-throughs above it. You can either use a real short tag in that acts like a Tokyo rig or a shaky end, or use a longer tag end. And the reason is because the angle of the line from the rod going into the water, if you use a longer tag end, it gets the bait up into the water column. If you use a short one, it's going to be right down here, right? So you can make a short Tokyo rig. That's not, if y'all were here when I was talking about, it's the most versatile bait you can do. You can use it, make it like a Tokyo rig. You can make it like a shaky head. You can fish it suspended. You can fish it 60 foot of water. You can fish it 2 foot of water. A lot of people down in Florida actually pitch a drop shot into the bedding bass, and the weight stays out of it, and they just pull the bait into the plastic into the bed. I mean, it works. Any questions?